Please rise for the pledge to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And welcome to the October Town of Lancaster Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. We'll start by asking our town clerk, Diane Terranova, to take the roll, please.
Mr. Hain.
Here.
Mr. Matthews.
Here.
Mr. Michaeli.
Here.
Mr. Storr. Mr. Tillmans.
Here.
Mr. Zeller.
Here.
Chairman Monticelli.
Here. Thank you. Will you read the first case, please?
First case considered by the Zoning Board of Appeals is that of the petition of Russell Bergstaller, 32 Greenbrier Drive, Lancaster, New York, for one variance for the purpose of installing a shed on a public drainage easement on premises owned by the petitioner at 32 Greenbrier Drive, Lancaster, New York, to wit, a variance from the requirements of Chapter 400 zoning, Section 14, subsection D, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for installing a 100-square-foot shed on a public drainage easement. Chapter 400 zoning, Section 14, subsection D, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires no structures other than fencing allowed within any drainage access easement. The petitioner therefore requests full encroachment onto the public drainage easement.
Thank you. Do we have a representative from 32 Greenbrier? Thank you. Will you come up to the podium, please? And just give us your name and address for the record.
Russ Bergstaller, 32 Greenbrier Drive.
Thank you, and go ahead and tell us about this project, please.
Yep, I'm just looking to install a 10 by 10 shed in the back corner of my property, 5 feet off the back, 5 feet off the side. It would align with 11 other houses in my neighborhood on my street and the street directly behind me, so it'll keep in aesthetics with all of the other properties that have put sheds in their backyards as well. It will not be a permanent structure, it will not have a foundation, so if there was ever work that needed to take place on the easement itself, we could move it and pull it forward to be able to perform the work underneath.
Okay. Thank you. We will start out with questions from the board. Mr. Hain?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Thank you. Mr. Matthews?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Thank you. Mr. Michaeli?
And thank you, Madam Chair. Am I reading this wrong, or is your easement according to the survey is 5 feet wide?
The easement on the back property is, I believe there is a 5 feet wide, there's a 10-foot wide cable TV easement, I believe, and then a 5 foot wide public drainage easement after that.
Right. So, but is the drain, if I'm looking at this correctly, the drainage easement is not at the property line?
The drainage easement is not at the property line, no.
Right.
There's an easement of 10 feet and then the 5 foot drainage easement. So it would be encroaching on that easement because it would be 5 feet off the property line.
But you want to put it smack dab in the middle of the easement. So the easement's only 5 feet wide, right?
Yes,
And the shed is 10 by 10.
10 by 10.
And isn't there, if I'm looking at this correctly, so there's 10 feet beyond the easement. So you have 5 foot wide easement and then 10 feet of no easement and then your property line.
Yeah, the back fence behind me, right, and then there's 10 feet, and then there's the 5 foot easement off of that.
Right. So if you moved it back, it wouldn't be an easement.
But then it would be right against the property line, which I believe is against
That would be a different
code
variance.
as well, yes.
Right, so that would be, Matt, the code is 5 feet?
5 feet from the property line is where it's proposed. So we're covering the entire drainage easement, and we're 5 feet into the utility easement.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have no more questions.
Thank you, Mr. Michaeli. Mr. Storr?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I apologize for my tardiness. I'm just getting caught up looking at the Google satellite view. Do you already have a structure or something ready in the back corner there?
No,
Okay,
there was a rock pile that was there.
okay. And I'm looking, you are correct, as if it does appear to be in line with some of your neighbors, other neighbor sheds. On one side you and the other one, I can't tell with the trees. Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no further questions at this
Thank
moment.
you, Mr. Stewart. Mr. Tillmans?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question for Matt. Do you know offhand if any of those other sheds are in that same drainage easement? Or are they all in that?
Most of the ones that you see there are. I've not found record of permitting on most.
Okay. So we'll be seeing some more shed cases?
Or, pardon
We'll
me?
be seeing some more shed cases?
Perhaps.
Okay. I have no other questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillmans. Mr. Zelak?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Purpose of the shed is storage of,
Just storage of lots of kids' toys, patio furniture, that type of stuff.
one, I understand in your findings here, you wanted it back as far as possible. What is the reason why you need to be in the easement? Why can't it be forward?
My backyard is sloped significantly. If I tried to pull it forward, it would not be able to be level in the backyard itself. And it would be in a major portion of where the fence comes in, where we walk into the backyard. It would block a significant portion of the yard by that.
But you're in the back corner, so there's nothing that's significant behind it.
Correct. If it goes in that corner, correct. If I had to pull it forward, that's where it would cause problems.
Okay. No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Zelak. Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who has any questions or comments about this case? Okay, there being none,
Can I ask another question, Madam Chair?
please.
How is it going to be on skids or on a cement?
It'll be, the frame itself will be a wooden structure, and there will be we'll say, a rock bed that will be put underneath it for it to be on top of.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mickley. And you understand that if, for some reason, somebody needed to get into that area, the shed would have to be moved?
Yes.
Okay. And there is a form that we ask you to sign and file with County Hall, agreeing to that.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Is that what I do when I go to the permit office after?
Our permit office,
Yeah.
you mean? Yes.
Well, because if it gets approved here, I have to go get an actual permit, right? So is that where I would sign that document?
I believe so. Is that where,
Thank you.
no, where is that?
The easement document?
The easement document.
We'll have several steps to take before we can issue a permit. First, that easement agreement needs to be filed at the county clerk's office,
Okay.
proof of filing. And then we'll need to have something from the telephone company for an encroachment into their easement.
Okay. And do we have those easement agreement
We have a
forms?
copy of a form
Okay.
that can be signed with the filing of a covenant. I don't know if that's a proper document to file that. This is an archived document that was more of a gentleman's contract between the town and the covenant. Nothing was binding post-sale of the property. And it's a filing requirement.
Okay.
When you say telephone company, do you mean Verizon?
Whoever owns that New York telephone easement,
Okay.
I have to assume it's Verizon.
Because when I came in, that somebody had mentioned that to me.
Yeah.
I spent hours calling Verizon numbers, and nobody could tell me what process to follow for that. So-
Another recommendation would be your real estate attorney to read the deed documents and understand who physically owns that. You got the page and library number. I'm really not sure how to drill down deeper to get contact information for the easement owner.
Mr. Stewart, did you have a question or comment?
No, he kind of
Okay.
held that.
All right. Anyone else on the board?
I just have another question. So I know you said that the backyard slanted, sloped pretty well prior to the easement. So the easement, it flattens out, is that it?
Correct, where the easement is, I've spent a significant amount of money trying to build it up across the back of the property to be more level
Okay. So you build up the easement area, the drainage easement area?
with dirt and grass, yes.
Well, I
think
advise
that-
to restore that grade because that drainage easement is meant to convey surface water to the drain inlet. That's going to be on the southwest corner. You see the drain inlet? I'm not sure what's happening upstream from there, but that easement is meant to convey surface water. You may be blocking drainage to the neighbors as it flows.
It's not blocking, it's still sloped over to that.
I guess I'm just concerned there now, because like, so that's, have you built it up from your property line up and then flattened it and then back down, or what did you do there?
The yard went like this, down and up. This section was built up, but it still has a slope like this and is still angled over to the drainage on the side.
Please, Mr. Stewart.
Matt, is the Greenbrier area known for having drainage problems or flooding issues or complaints from the neighbors regarding this?
We haven't had drainage complaints, to be honest with you, since we've been having our stormwater management program in 2018. These are all surface grade runoff issues. We rely heavily on the original grading plan and subdivisions.
Okay.
Because they're designed by your professionals.
Yeah.
They were installed accordingly, and we expect them to be made.
So this is just going off Google Maps with there being, it seems accurate, probably 10 plus sheds in that area that have them in that area.
Oh, there's swimming pools, all kinds of things.
Okay. And it appears that the neighboring ones aren't causing problems if you're not getting complaints?
We've not received any.
Thank you. No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Anyone else? Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Stewart, thank you.
Whereas the zoning board of appeals of the town of Lancaster has made the following findings, that this area variance for a single-family residence according to part 617.5C17 of the New York State Code of Rules and Regulations is a type 2 action and has been determined not to have a significant impact on the environment, therefore it is not subject to seeker review, that no undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood by the granting of the area variance leaves sought, that no detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance relief sought, because it is similar to adjoining properties.
Thank you.
That the benefit sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance relief sought. That the requested area variance is not substantial because it is not a poured foundation and is a movable structure.
Thank you.
That the proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district, that the alleged difficulty is self-created, but not to the extent necessary to preclude the granting of the area variance relief sought. That this board has taken into consideration the benefits sought by the applicant. The area variance relief sought is granted as weighted against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or district or community by such grant, that within the intents and purposes of this ordinance, the variance relief sought, if granted, is the absolute minimum variance necessary to afford relief.
Would you? You gonna add the condition?
With the condition that you file with the county clerk's office, that if the town needs to gain access for maintenance to the easement, thank you, that you will remove the shed at your expense.
Okay.
Thank you. Do we have a second? Okay, I'll second. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hain,
No.
Mr. Matthews,
No.
Mr. Michaeli,
No.
Mr. Storr,
Yes.
Mr. Tillmans,
No.
Mr. Zelak.
No.
Ms. Monticelli.
Yes.
Denied.
Okay, I'm sorry, your petition is denied. Ms. Terranova, will you read the second case, please?
Second case considered by the zoning board of appeals is that of the petition of Jeffrey Plumbo, 9276 Main Street, Suite 3, Clarence, New York, for 2 variances for the purpose of subdividing a parcel into 3 non-conforming lots on premises owned by Carmelo Zagario Revocable Trust at 0 Genesee Street, Lancaster, New York, to wit: A variance from the requirements of Chapter 400 zoning, Section 13, subsection C, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for subdividing a parcel into 3 non-conforming lots. Parcel 1, 1.01 acres, Parcel 2, 1.04 acres, and Parcel 3, 1 acre. Chapter 400 zoning, Section 13, subsection C, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires a minimum lot area per dwelling unit of 3 acres. The petitioner therefore requests a variance of 1.99 acres for Parcel 1, 1.96 acres for Parcel 2, and 2 acres for Parcel 3. B, a variance from the requirements of Chapter 400 zoning, Section 13, subsection C, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for subdividing a parcel into 3 non-conforming lots. Parcel 1, road frontage of 125.53 feet. Parcel 2, road frontage of 141.09 feet. And Parcel 3, road frontage of 163.88 feet. Chapter 400 zoning, Section 13, subsection C, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires a minimum lot width of 300 feet if abutting a dedicated street. The petitioner therefore requests a 174.47-foot variance for parcel number 1, a 158.91-foot variance for parcel 2, and 163.88-foot variance for parcel number 3.
Thank you. I'm going to recuse myself from this particular case. I have a couple of tangential connections to the family. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Jeff Palumbo with the law firm of Block Longo. I represent the petitioner. Diane has done her usual admirable job setting forth the requests that are before you this evening. We did submit an application that I believe is very detailed as to the benefit versus the detriment, the standard that you're all very familiar with when we're dealing with area variances. We also covered in detail the 5 factors that are necessary to be discussed anytime you're dealing with area variances. So I will not go through the frontage and the lot numbers that Diane just went through, but certainly happy to answer any questions regarding those figures. The map that we submitted sets forth what really is the key to this. The benefit, let's talk about the benefit versus the detriment first. The benefit that we feel in this case gives the petitioner, the owner, the ability to create 3 individual residential building lots and to receive a return on investment that's not otherwise available. So we would not be coming in front of you asking for this if it were not, the neighborhood that we sit in was any different than it is now. And when you look at the map that we submitted and you go through the application and the factors, when you start with factor number 1, and I don't like to go through every single factor and every single word we put in here because I know you've read it and you're familiar with it. But I think number 1 is really the most important factor. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance. And what we said in our application, and what I'll repeat today, is our subdivision is entirely consistent with the established character of the neighborhood. If you look at the map again that we submitted, there are immediately adjacent to us 6360 Genesee Street, 1.02 acre lot with 137 frontage. 6376 Genesee, 1.49 acres, 192 frontage. 6320 Genesee, 1.0 acres and 124 frontage. And it goes on and on and on. Across the street, there are 5 others that are very similar to what we're proposing here. So again, we've attached the maps, we've discussed the benefit. I don't see the detriment. I would see the detriment, and again, I wouldn't even be here if there are 3-acre lots surrounding us or in the immediate area. There are very few of those. In fact, it's dividing this or developing it as a 3-acre lot would be more out of character than what we're proposing. So the other factor that I just wanted to talk about is the question about whether the variance request is substantial. And when you look at the numbers, it does appear that these are substantial requests. I'll give you that. But when you look at the New York State case law, it's very clear, and we cited a case in our application that says it's not a pure mathematical formula, because then most of these cases would be dismissed out of hand because of that factor alone. But you have to look at the surrounding factors in order to discuss whether or not the actual request is substantial. And when you compare our lots to what's immediately adjacent to us and in the immediate vicinity of our lots, it's not substantial. It's more in conformity than being out of conformity with the harmony and the character of the neighborhood. So as I said, we've gone through in detail all of the factors. I'm happy to discuss any of them that you have any questions about or anything else that's in our application. I'm happy to answer your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Palumbo. We'll turn to the board and start with Mr. Matthews.
Just a couple quick ones. When was the property originally purchased?
It's been in their ownership over 20 years.
Over 20 years, okay.
Yes.
And so the intent is to build single-family homes on each of the 3 parcels?
Correct. And at one point in time, the reason why these numbers are different, the lot widths, we had buyers for these properties some time ago when we started this lengthy process. And those buyers are gone. But those numbers were based on the homes that were about to be built if we could have had it approved then. So we decided just to keep the numbers rather than divide them evenly into 135-foot lots. That's why one's 141, one's 126, or whatever the numbers are.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no further questions.
Okay, Mr. Matthews, thank you. Mr. Michaeli.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Let me ask you, how do you justify or bring into congruence the fact of, at times, a variance petition may not be substantial, however, it's not, it conflicts with the town's comprehensive plan?
Well, the conflicting with the town's comprehensive plan really, in my opinion, has mostly to do with the zoning. So in our case, the zoning allows single-family homes, but doesn't allow it on the 1-acre lots that we're proposing. So I think the answer to the question is that the comprehensive plan calls for single-family. It doesn't speak specifically about the large lots. It talks about single-family, the way I understand it.
In certain areas to be less densely developed.
Sure, sure.
Which I think, and I wasn't part of the process when the comprehensive plan was created, but I would imagine that part of the thought process then was that we want certain areas to be less densely populated, therefore we'll make the minimum lot requirements larger. That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Storr?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know you said that you picked the widths based on old potential sellers. Was there any thought of, instead of doing 3 parcels, doing 2 to try to be closer to the, I mean, you would still need a variance for it, but to try to make it closer to the zoning laws?
That's a good question, and the answer is, when we looked at the map, and again, we've attached the map, you see so many, 150, 100, 100, 100, 100, 100, 150, immediately adjacent to us, 137, 137, 124, all hundreds over here, all 122 over here. So 70 to 90% of the lots in the immediate area are our size or smaller. So no, we decided based on what's there that this would be more in conformity to dividing it into lots very similar to what exists now.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. No further questions this time.
Thank you, Mr. Storr. Mr. Tillmans?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions right now.
Thank you, Mr. Tillmans. Mr. Zelak?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Story might ask my question for me. Just to reiterate, so you're not going to move on to 2 lots versus the 3?
The reason why they need 3, or they're asking for 3.
I understand the previous...
One other addition to what I said is based on the amount of investment into this property, and I don't have the dollar numbers in front of me, but that was one of the considerations based on the dollar amount and the taxes that have been paid to date over these 20 years. To kind of recoup some of that, my client felt that 3 was the appropriate number.
I do have a question for Matt. Matt, the surrounding houses that we're talking about with the small lot sizes, are those older homes, relatively new homes?
Generally within the last 20 years, I would imagine, in the north side of the property, that's part of the golf course parcel at one point. I'm not on it. Several of the properties on the south side of the street are significant.
In the last 20 years, the zoning has changed once?
Well, in 20 years, yeah, I mean, the comp plan and the zoning code was adopted in 2000, after the last review of the overall town and the recommendations made by the council.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Zulek. Mr. Hain?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hain. Does anyone in the audience have any questions, any comments? There being none, do we have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Motion, Mr. Timmons, thank you.
Whereas the zoning board of appeals of the town of Lancaster has made the following findings: that this area variance for a single-family residence according to Part 617.5 C17 of the New York State Codes, Rules, and Regulations is a Type 2 action and has been determined not to have significant impact on the environment, therefore it is not subject to a seeker review. That no undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood by the granting of the area variance relief sought, as the lot sizes will be similar in character and size to the surrounding properties.
Thank you.
That no detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance relief sought. That the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance relief sought. That the requested area variance relief is not substantial. That the proposed area variance relief will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. That the alleged difficulty is self-created, but not to the extent necessary to preclude the granting of the area variance relief sought. This board has taken into consideration the benefit to the applicants if the variance relief sought is granted, is weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community by such grant. That within the intent and purposes of this ordinance, the variance relief sought, if granted, is the minimum variance necessary to afford relief.
Thank you. Motion, Mr. Tills, I'm sorry, Mr. Tillmans. Do we have a second? Anybody? Okay, well, this is a new one on me.
I would like to make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Storr. I don't know, can we do that with a motion on the floor?
Well, if there wasn't a second.
There's no second
There's-
motion.
No second, so you can redo it.
Whereas zoning board of appeals has made the following findings.
Just give me
that-
1 second.
Sorry.
Go to it.
Whereas zoning board of appeals made the following findings, that this area variance for single-family residence according to Part 617.5 C17 of the New York State Codes, Rules, and Regulations is a type 2 action that has been determined not to have a significant impact on the environment. Therefore, it is not subject to seeker review. That the benefits sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance relief sought.
Hold on 1 second. Okay. That the benefits sought by the applicant
Can be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area relief sought, because it is possible to create the subdivision closer aligned to the town's plan. And that the requested area variance is substantial.
Okay, thank you.
That's it.
That's it.
Okay, motion, Mr. Storr, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Zelak, thank you.
Can I have a clarification that this would be a motion to deny?
This would be a motion to deny.
Thank you.
So a yes,
Just
a
a yes
responsive
would be
yes
going to-
means you agree that it should be tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, all right, sure. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hain,
Yes.
Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Michaely,
Yes.
Mr. Storr,
Yes.
Mr. Tillmans,
No.
Mr. Zelak,
Yes.
and Ms. Monticelli.
And I've
Oh,
recused myself, so.
You
abstain.
recused. So it's denied.
Thank you.
That's
Motion to-
that's pretty amazing, honestly.
Okay, may we have the third case, please?
The third case considered by the Zoning Board of Appeals is the petition of Ronald Matthews, 3 Windsor Ridge Drive, Lancaster, New York, for 2 variances for the purpose of a residential accessory structure constructed within a public drainage easement and 4 feet 7.5 inches from the side property line on premise owned by the petitioner at 3 Windsor Ridge Drive, Lancaster, New York, to wit. A variance from the requirements of Chapter 400, zoning Section 14, subsection D, Schedule B, of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for a residential accessory structure constructed 4 feet 7.5 inches from the side property line. Chapter 400, zoning Section 14, subsection D, Schedule B, of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires a minimum location of 5 feet from the side lot line, or if an easement exists, from the edge of the easement, whichever is more restrictive. The petitioner therefore requests a 4.5-inch variance. B, a variance from the requirements of Chapter 400 zoning, Section 14, subsection D, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for a residential accessory structure constructed within a public drainage easement. Chapter 400 zoning, Section 14, subsection D, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires no structures other than fencing allowed within any public drainage easement access. The petitioner therefore requests a 6-inch encroachment into a public drainage easement.
Thank you, Ms. Terranova. And do we have somebody here from Windsor Ridge? Good evening, come on up, please. And will you give us your name and
Sure.
address?
Ron Matthews, 3 Windsor Ridge Drive.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews. Go ahead and tell us about your request.
Yeah, so I hired a contractor to build a detached garage in the back corner of the property. He went ahead and built it, and town inspected it, and the building itself passed inspection. But once I had the survey redone, we found out that the garage is slightly tilted, and it encroaches into the north and the east end of the property.
All right, anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay, I'll turn it over to the board, starting with Mr. McKelvey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just say, I think it's worth noting here, particularly in light of the first case tonight, the amount of variance that's being requested here, just to stress. There are 2 variances, one is for 4.5 inches, the other is for 6 inches. That's all I have.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Mickley. Mr. Storr?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Okay. No questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Storr. Mr. Tillmans?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Tillmans. Mr. Zelak?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions as well.
Mr. Hain?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So it appears you filed your permits property, you were trying to stay out of the easement, the original design, you went through the inspection process, and you ended up a little bit too close. Did I
Yes.
convey that properly? All right.
Yes.
Yeah, these are very minor variances. I have no more questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Matthews?
I have no questions.
All right, thank you. And I have no questions. Does anyone in the audience have questions or comments? There being none, do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Motion, Mr. Michaely.
Whereas the zoning board of appeals of the town of Lancaster has made the following findings, that this area variance for a single-family residence according to Part 617.5, C17 of the New York State Code Rules and Regulations is a Type 2 action and has been determined not to have a significant impact on the environment, therefore it is not subject to secret review. That no undesirable change we produced in the character of the neighborhood by the granting of the area variance relief sought due to the small size, due to the size of the variance requested. That no detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance relief sought. That the benefit sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance relief sought. That the requested area variance relief is not substantial. That the proposed area variance relief will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. That the alleged difficulty is self-created but not to the extent necessary to preclude the granting of the area variance relief sought. That this board has taken into consideration the benefit of the applicants if the variance relief sought is granted as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community by such grant. That within the intent and purposes of this ordinance, the variance relief sought, if granted, is the minimum variance necessary to afford relief.
Thank you. And noting that this has been referred to both as a garage and a shed,
I'll add-
not being sure which it is. Did you want to do it?
I'll add the sentence that no commercial enterprise other than those permitted by Chapter 400 of the Code of Town of Lancaster be conducted on the premises.
Thank you. Motion, Mr. Michaely, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Matthews. Thank you. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hain.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Michaely.
Yes.
Mr. Storr.
Yes.
Mr. Tillmans.
Yes.
Mr. Zeller.
Yes.
Chairman Monticelli.
Yes. Congratulations, your request is approved. Just follow up with the building inspector's office.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. Good luck.
Thank you.
Will you read us the fourth case, please?
Fourth case considered by the Zoning Board of Appeals is that of the petition of Eric Groff, 3279 Walden Avenue, Depew, New York, for one use variance for the purpose of installing a ground-mounted PV solar system on premises owned by the Hellenic Orthodox Church of the Assumption of the Annunciation at 5992 Genesee Street, Lancaster, New York, to wit. A variance from the requirements of Chapter 400 zoning Section 56, subsection B2 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for installing a ground-mounted PV solar system. Chapter 400 zoning Section 56, subsection B2 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires ground-mounted and freestanding solar collectors are not permitted in residential districts. The petitioner therefore requests permission for the installation of a ground-mounted PV solar system in an agricultural residential district.
Thank you, Ms. Terranova. And do we have someone here from 5992 Genesee Street? Good evening. Will you give us your name and address for the record?
Yeah, my name is Eric Groff, and I work for Bottle Solar. We're at 3279 Walden Ave.
Okay. And could you speak just a little bit more into the mic?
Yeah, I'll try.
Thank you.
Do you need me to repeat myself?
I think we got it. You got the address?
Got it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So yeah, for the Hellenic Orthodox Church of the Annunciation, they have their Family Life Center at 5992 Genesee Street. They were looking to reduce some of their power bills. They're spending roughly $10,000 a year on electricity. That's a lot for a donation-based entity. So with all the land that they have, they were looking to do a solar system. The roof complex, very complex, lots of different angles, all sorts of stuff. Roughly about a third of the size that they would need to be able to offset their power usage effectively, as well as the cost would be very high for the type of system it would be. They have a lot of land, so we looked at doing a ground mount in the back of their property. It's roughly 800 feet from the front parcel line and over 1,000 feet to a neighboring house. Additionally, there will be a fence around it. We can screen it, stuff like that. The property is naturally screened around all the other sides, so there's not really any visibility to it. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, happy to answer them.
Thank you, I'm sure we do. So we'll start with Mr. Storr.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My one concern is, because I've been to the church several times.
Yep.
Birthday parties and whatnot
Yep.
there. Where you are putting this, 320 feet from your back property line, right behind that is New York State Thruway. Will there be a potential glare? Will there be any potential viewing from the 90 to these?
So I have driven on the 90 past this church 1,000 times. I only realized it, that the church even existed, like after we started working on this project. Directly across the thruway from this project is actually the huge solar array that's on the landfill.
Okay.
But no, these panels are anti-glare coated. They're going to be facing away from the throughway as well, so there wouldn't be any glare concerns.
Excellent. Thank you, Madam Chair. No further questions.
Thank you, Mr. Storr. Mr. Tillmans?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions at the moment.
Thank you, Mr. Tillmans. Mr. Zelak?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The area you're looking for, is this the minimum to achieve a good return on their investment?
Yes, this is like the optimal return on investment for them. It hits right at that 100% consumption. So basically targeted exactly what their usage is. That's the exact system that they're getting.
I have no further questions, thank you.
No.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Hain?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Hain. And Mr. Matthews?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
And Mr. Michaeli?
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I would say this, I would just say that intuitively, looking at this property, it makes sense that there should be a solar panels there. It's 25 acres, it backs up to the thruway.
Yep.
It's behind a church, it's however many hundreds of feet from the street. There's a solar farm right across the thruway.
Yep.
But what we have to go by is the town code.
Yep.
And then also the state code when granting a use variance, because this is a use variance. And it's pretty clear. And I'm reading right now from State Code 267B. No such use variance shall be granted by a Board of Appeals without a showing by the applicant that applicable zoning regulations and restrictions have caused unnecessary hardship. In order to prove such unnecessary hardship, the applicant shall demonstrate to the Board of Appeals that for each and every permitted use under the zoning regulations for the particular property where the property is located, number one, the property cannot realize a reasonable return, provided the lack of return is substantial and demonstrated. So in the way I see it is, you're showing that you'll save money by having this solar, if this petition was granted. But I don't see that shows that the property cannot achieve a reasonable return, because obviously the property can, because there's a church on the property already. There could be something else in it. There could be housing on the property. That's the struggle that I have.
Okay, I mean, I don't think the church will be letting go of any of the property in the future. They are using some of it to lease out to farming, so that is some of how they were recouping costs. But as far as the operational expenses of the building itself, being run on donations and stuff, as power costs keep going up, and they're expected to rise a lot in the future, especially short term, there's just not a way that they can combat that effectively.
So, question for Matt. I'm sorry, Matt, I always do this to you, but the difference between this size solar array and across the thruway, there's the one that's on the landfill. There's different classifications based on size.
Uses.
Correct? Based on uses?
I understand uses. I can dig into the definitions and go through all of that. We've got major and minor facilities.
So this is a minor
Minor
one.
is going to support the existing building and assist with the power supply to a building. The majors are collectors that are fed into the grid system.
Would a major be allowed on a residential, on an AR zoned parcel of 25 acres? Because kind of what I'm getting at here, in a strange, ironic way,
The major system, they do permit
And then, I should have asked this beforehand, I'm sorry, but what's the difference?
I'm in the section of the code that identifies the major systems. They are permitted through special use and site plan review in the light industrial and general industrial districts.
Just those two districts? Okay. All right. That's all I have, Madam Chair. Thank you.
I have another question.
Mr. Stark, sure.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Emily, I know regarding certain zoning laws, there's religious exemptions for churches and stuff. Is there any religious exemption for a variance, or for the use variance versus the zoning variance?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Good question, thanks, Mr. Stark. All right, anyone else on the board? And is there anyone in the audience who'd like to address this request? All right, there being none, do we have a motion? Okay, I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Town of Lancaster has made the following findings, that this area, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got it.
I think I have it too, just force of habit. Okay, one moment, please. I did not expect to be making this motion. Are we just reading this?
Start with this,
Use, not area.
but then you can't.
Diane, I'm just reading this first page.
The use variance you have in front of you, so those, yeah, those are the criteria for
The
use
four.
variance, yeah.
Okay. All right, I apologize, this is kind of unusual. All right, whereas the Zoning Board of Appeals of the Town of Lancaster has made the following findings, that the petitioner cannot realize a reasonable return substantial as shown by competent financial evidence. The alleged there is no undesirable change to the neighborhood, character, or to the nearby properties. The variance will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood, and the alleged hardship has not been self-created. I need a second.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hain,
No.
Mr. Matthews,
No.
Mr. Michaeli,
No.
Mr. Storr,
Yes.
Mr. Tillmans,
No.
Mr. Zelak,
Yes.
Ms. Monticelli.
Yes,
Denied.
I'm sorry, it's.
That's okay. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, sorry for.
All right, Ms. Terranova, if you would be so kind, please read us the fifth case.
The fifth case considered by the Zoning Board of Appeals is that of the rehearing of the petition of Ronald and Diane Kozlowski, 422 Westwood Road, Lancaster, New York, for one use variance for the purpose of installing a ground-mounted PV solar system on premises owned by the petitioners at 422 Westwood Road, Lancaster, New York, to wit, a variance from the requirements of Chapter 400 zoning, Section 56, subsection B2 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for installing a ground-mounted PV solar system. Chapter 400 zoning, Section 56, subsection B2 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires ground-mounted and freestanding solar collectors not be permitted in residential districts. Petitioners therefore request a variance for permitting the installation of a ground-mounted PV solar system in an agricultural residential district.
Yes, good evening, Chairperson, members of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Sean Hopkins from the law firm of Hopkins, Sorge and McCarthy at 35 California Drive, Suite 100, Williamsville, New York, 14221, on behalf of the applicant, Diane and Ron Kozlowski. Also with me is Mr. Kozlowski. So this is going to follow up on the discussion that was held in connection with the previous application for a solar facility. I'm going to take a step backwards and not do this in any way that's meant to be adversarial, but I have a little bit different take on this, and I want to make sure that I explain it. And as I do try to explain it, feel free to ask for clarification. So there was some discussion with Mr. Fajon about major versus minor accessory solar collection system, and I want to read you the definition of what is minor or accessory solar collection system, pulled directly from section 412 of the zoning code. A solar photovoltaic cell panel array, solar hot air or water collector device which relies upon solar radiation as an energy source for collection, inversion, storage, and distribution of solar energy for electricity generation or transfer of stored heat, secondary to the use of the premises for other lawful purposes. Minor, and this is the important sentence, minor solar collection systems may consist of building integrated photovoltaics, ground-mounted, or roof-mounted solar collection devices. So basically what the definition of minor solar collection system, which this is, it's accessory to a single-family home, says it can be roof-mounted or ground-mounted. And why that's important, it means it is a permitted use. That doesn't mean that we don't need to come in front of you. But what it does mean is it's not a use variance. A use variance is for a use that's not permitted in the district. I'll give you an example. If you wanted to build an apartment building on this property, if you wanted to build an office building on this property, if you wanted to do something industrial. But within the residential district, as an accessory use, and this is in the AR zoning district, it actually states as an accessory use, solar energy facilities. So they are permitted use. There's a lot of case law on this point, and I've been doing this now for 30 years, and this issue is not unique to Lancaster. It comes up again and again. And basically, what the difference between an area variance and a use variance comes back to, as I said, area variance is when you're asking to deviate from a physical or dimensional requirement. Whether a minor solar collection system has to be on a roof, or whether it can be on the ground, which is exactly what this is. Whereas a use variance is literally a use that's not permitted in that zoning district. So respectfully, we would ask you treat this as an area variance, and I think we've clearly justified why that should be the case. Does anyone have any questions about that, or how does anyone think about that? And I welcome input from Matt and Emily as well.
Matt?
You all are good?
Yeah.
So I'll read right from chapter 400, subsection 56, the solar collectors and installations for minor systems. Letter B, number 2, it's clearly stating that ground-mounted and freestanding solar collectors are not permitted in the residential districts related to minor systems. So if we're in a commercial setting, commercial district, general commercial, light commercial, general industrial, light industrial, mixed use, the ground-mounted system is permitted to be installed, just not in the residential districts.
And Matt is correct, the zoning code does say that. Obviously, I've worked for Matt a long time. But again, that provision of the zoning code is directly contradictory to the actual, more important definition of what a minor accessory solar collection system is. And again, I think it's impossible to say that that's not a permitted accessory use, despite what the zoning code says. I would also ask the board to consider that there are many instances. We can look in every single zoning code, Lancaster, the city of Buffalo, the village of Lancaster, the village of Depew, where there's what I would call contradictions or ambiguities. And in each and every instance that occurs, any ambiguity has to be interpreted in favor of the property owner. And actually the most important, the most well-known case on that is actually a case involving the town of Lancaster called AHIPA versus the town of Lancaster, all the way back in 1996. So when there's ambiguity, it goes in our favor. So we would ask that it be treated as an area variance. I'm going to address that quickly, but then again, we'll also address use variance criteria, because I think we can actually remarkably address those as well. So I want to take a step back. The property here at 422 Westwood is zoned agricultural residential district. Again, it's our position that's a permitted accessory use. It is large, it's 4 acres in size, so it's not a typical residential lot in the town. Where we're proposing the ground-mounted minor solar system is 500 feet back from the road. If you know this site, it will not have any adverse impacts on anyone. It's not visible from the thruway, it's not visible to anyone where it would have any concerns. Given where it is, given the adjacent uses, including agricultural, and the low density of that neighborhood. In terms of use variance criteria, I'm going to walk through them quickly, and we've provided this. So the first criteria is whether or not we can realize a reasonable rate of return. And as Mr. Mikely mentioned in the previous hearing, it's not sometimes an easy criteria to satisfy with respect to a use variance, but our client has submitted detailed documentation that demonstrates what I would say a typical roof-mounted solar system does not work on this site. It's not his fault. It's given the orientation of the house, where the sun falls, et cetera, the condition of his roof. But if he's allowed to install ground-mounted over a lengthy period of time, it will generate a reasonable rate of return. And keep in mind, my client's not a developer. He's a homeowner trying to save on energy and trying to do something that really is consistent with the trend, not only in Western New York and the town of Lancaster, but elsewhere. So I think that's particularly relevant. Number two, is it unique? Yeah, it is kind of unique, given, again, the configuration of his parcel, given the fact that really this has no adverse impacts whatsoever on anyone off-site. The third criteria under use variance would be, does it alter the essential character of the neighborhood? And I think we would all agree, we won't know it's there. So how could it alter the essential character of the neighborhood? And then fourth, whether or not the hardship is self-created. And here it simply isn't. Given where that site is, given the conditions of the existing house, this is the only way that, again, this particular homeowner, Mr. Kozlowski, can bring solar energy to his property. In terms of area variance criteria, I think clear as day we would have it. It's not going to result in an undesirable change of the character of the neighborhood. There are no feasible alternatives. I mean, he's provided detailed financial analysis demonstrating roof-mounted does not work here. It's not substantial. Again, roof versus ground. It will not result in any adverse physical or environmental impacts. And again, it's not self-created. So we would ask that you consider treating it as an area variance, again, based on the definition contained in the code, and also clear as day that solar is a permitted accessory use in the AR district. With all that being said, I also want to note that Mr. Kozlowski really has put forth a lot of effort in terms of his submission to this board. He's done his best to address each of the criteria. And I would also ask that you would consider the following. So you did grant a rehearing here. My client is not a developer. He thought up until very close to the public hearing date that this was an area variance, not a use variance. I think that's what the form was, but he did provide you with use variance documentation as well. I would ask, and you can do this clear as day in your discretion, that if you opt to treat this as a use variance instead of an area variance, that you do not treat it as a rehearing and let it be governed by a simple majority vote, meaning a 4-vote, a quorum of the board versus a unanimous vote. We do appreciate you providing us with this opportunity to come in front of you again. Again, we've done a great deal of homework, and we would welcome any input, questions, or suggestions that you may have that could address any of your concerns, because we just simply want to move forward with what's a relatively straightforward project, and we're just caught up on terminology within the zoning code. I also do want to note that there is case law. So I believe it was Mr. Storer asked in connection with the previous project, hey, is there some kind of exemption for religious use? And your attorney was correct. No, there's not exemption. But when it comes in the context of alternative energy projects, whether it's home solar, larger solar, windmills, et cetera, there is ample case law, both at the state level and the federal level, that says local boards, such as this Board of Appeals, should have more discretion and be a little bit more lenient, meaning there's a policy reason behind this. We want solar energy, we want alternative forms of energy, so as such, when these types of matters come in front of a local board, you can, vary a little bit more than you typically would from just strictly looking at the criteria and say no based on criteria, based on instead of whether or not does this really make sense. We're asking you to take a practical approach, take a look at this, take at the information we've submitted, Consider the fact that it does not result in any adverse impacts. This is not a for-profit business, and proceed accordingly. So with all that being said, if you have any questions, either myself or Ron would welcome the opportunity to address them.
Thank you, Mr. Hopkins. Let's start with Mr. Tillmans.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Tillmans. Mr. Zelat?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I don't have any questions either.
Thank you, Mr. Zelat. Mr. Hain?
Thank you, Madam Chair, I have no questions.
And Mr. Matthews?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Mr. Michaely?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sean, if you don't mind me calling you Sean.
Of course
Can you
not.
tell me, which section were you reading when you said, what you were quoting? Because I'm reading 400-56, which
Yeah,
is
hold
solar
on.
collectors and installations of minor systems.
Yeah, so where I'm reading from was, I have too many handouts in front of me, give me 1 second. So I was reading from section 400-12 of the zoning code, which is definitions, and I was taking a look at the definition, the broad definition of minor or accessory solar collection system. I have a copy here.
Okay. So I'm looking at 400-56,
Okay, which I do have a copy of that.
which is solar collectors and installations for minor systems.
Right.
And it says ground-mounted and freestanding solar collectors. Look, I just lost my.
I can read it, because it's actually, what Matt said is right. What it says is, ground-mounted freestanding solar collectors are permitted as accessory structures in all business and industrial districts.
Right.
And there's also language that says, such systems, ground-mounted, are not permitted in residential districts. We acknowledge the code says that.
Right.
But again, use versus location, physical or dimensional requirement. Solar is a permitted accessory use in the AR district. So that provision of the zoning code clearly contradicts the definition. And again, if there's ambiguous or contradictory language, it has to be interpreted in favor of the property owner. But regardless of that, even if you want to treat it as a use variance versus an area variance, we would just ask that you grant the requested relief, because again, there is no harm. Doesn't set any precedent, because you have to look at each individual application on its merits. And he's not doing this for profit. We're trying to do something that's good for the environment. So I don't want to get caught up on that. And I respect Matt, I respect everyone else. It's just, there is a contradiction in the code. And it's no one's fault in this room.
Okay.
And it's not uncommon.
Thank you, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Michaely. Mr. Hopkins, can you explain again how this should be an area variance?
Yeah.
Because I'm lost.
I will, okay. So a use variance is for a use that's not permitted in a zoning district. The best case example would be building a Walmart in a residential district. It's an extreme example. Whereas an area variance is where you're asking to deviate from a dimensional or physical requirement. Meaning, clear as day in the AR district, solar is permitted, minor solar. It's permitted on roofs, clear as day. So by putting it on the ground, you're not changing the use, you're changing the location, right? So it's clear it's not a use variance. If it was a use variance, it would be a use that's actually not permitted in that AR district, and it is explicitly called out as a permitted accessory use. Does it make sense?
Okay.
There's also some cases that are even go more extreme. There's a famous case, a mobile oil case, where the zoning code said you cannot have a fuel canopy for a gas station. Somewhat extreme example. And that went in front of a court, and the court basically came back and said, regardless of what the zoning code says, we're treating that as an area variance because that's a customary accessory use of a gas station. And to a large degree, I don't even know if you can build a gas station without a canopy. But I mean, so there's a lot of cases and a lot of examples where this happens. And no zoning code can be perfect with respect to this. They just simply can't. And that's why we're asking to be treated as an area variance. And I think clear as day, if you exercise your discretion and treat it as an area variance, we've easily met the criteria. I also think we've met the criteria for use variance, but I acknowledge it's a little bit more challenging, especially in light of the deference that should be given to alternative energy sources.
Okay.
If we were to treat it as an area variance, do you think we should treat it as a new hearing? Or
Yes.
a second? Because we've already heard.
Well, I think it's an area variance, clear as day, it's a new hearing, because you're treating it differently.
So treat it as a use variance.
If you treat it as a use variance, that's in your discretion. I can't come in front of you and say you have to treat it as a new hearing, but you can in your discretion. That's up to you. But that is part of the reason I'm asking you to treat it as an area variance.
So I would say that the reason we did rehear it because the applicant was not, the applicant's argument was that they were not given enough time. Whether that was accurate or not, the truth is we did not receive their application until shortly before, within 24 hours of the meeting.
Right. And I do want to note, I talked to Diane about this, and Diane said, we gave them the right paperwork.
Yep.
They were, my client's not a developer.
I know.
So, yeah,
I know.
I want to make
I
clear,
know.
it's not blaming the town for that.
But I think the difference, whether we hear it as a rehearing or a first hearing, is a big one. Because if it's a
I
rehearing.
guess, like, if we go to an area variance, what's the area variance then?
The area variance is to permit ground-mounted accessory solar versus it being on the
So
roof.
I'm looking at section 400-12. What definition were you using before that has the ambiguity? Because everything that I'm seeing here.
So 400, here's where I was.
Yeah, of course.
So here it is. That's the broad definition.
Oh, okay, you're looking at minor. I'm just looking at, sorry.
And again, zoning codes are confusing when you start getting into definitions and minor versus major and accessory versus principal and dimensional versus use. I acknowledge all that. What I'm asking for is maybe take a step back, look at this in terms of the big picture, and is it going to cause any harm? I think that's really what the purpose of a zoning board of appeals is, to take, try and protect the town, its businesses, its residents, et cetera, and this will result in no harm. And I think there actually is one individual here to speak in support of it as well, just for the record.
So which definition under 412 were you?
I was looking at definition of minor or accessory solar collection system,
And
which incorporates both, again, building integrated, ground mounted, and roof mounted. So all three types.
And where the thing is, if you look, there's also a definition for building integrated, ground mounted, and roof mounted.
There is, that's correct.
So you can go from where you're combining them into, there is a separate definition for ground mounted and roof mounted.
That is, I totally acknowledge that, but keep in mind, they're all the same use. But you're right, there's separate definitions.
So, Madam Chair, can I ask a question?
Of course.
So, this would be more Diane and Emily. Would we even need to, I don't even know how I want to word this. To look at this as a rehearing, which it is, it would need a unanimous vote, correct?
Correct.
That's correct.
So, before even considering it a first-time use hearing, if we wanted to do that, what would that entail? Because do we even have the power to do that? And if we do, what would be the process of looking into that?
Mr. Storer, I was going to suggest that maybe we adjourn for a few minutes to go into executive session with our attorney. Does that make sense?
I would second that motion.
Okay. All right, we are adjourned.
Okay, hold on one second.
And I just want to say from my position, it's in your discretion. I'm not legally saying you have to do that. I'm just saying, given the whole history of this, I'm confused as to what they were asking for. I'm asking you just to use your discretion.
Okay.
The hearing and everything else would say the same. It's just
Yeah.
how you vote.
I think we'd all feel more comfortable if
Yep.
we had some legal counsel.
Confer with counsel. To confer with counsel.
Yeah.
I wanted to do an actual roll call. I have Ms. Monticelli making a motion to go into executive session. Mr. Storer seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
Thank you. All right, let's adjourn for 10 to 15 minutes.
The live streaming will continue, so anything you say and do will be recorded.
I thought I'd go through the outside door. Thank you.
They're gone.
No decisions were made in executive session. Can we close the door?
Need a motion to come out of executive
Please.
session?
Yes, I think so.
I'll make a motion to come out of executive session.
I'll second. All in favor?
Yes. And who seconded?
I did.
Yeah, what time? 8:21. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carried.
I would like to make a motion to change this from a rehearing to an initial use hearing.
One second.
On roll call. Roll call.
Yes.
Mr. Hain?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Michaely?
Yes.
Mr. Storr?
Yes.
Mr. Tillman?
Yes.
Mr. Zelak?
Yes.
Chairman Monticelli?
Yes,
There is actually one resident too here that I would like to at least have the
certainly. Yeah,
Just before
we open it up to the audience as soon as we're
Okay.
done, so. Yeah, any further questions from the board? Okay.
The only thing, I just want to reiterate one other thing, and it's primarily targeted at Mr. Michaely, who I've dealt with in many of these situations. I do want to confirm, we did provide a detailed financial analysis. It's actually very detailed, explaining why ground-mounted is absolutely essential for this to work. Again, if we could do it roof-mounted, we would. So I want to make that clear.
I 100% agree, and I think that they made a great argument showing that ground-mounted is more economically feasible than roof-mounted.
Thank you. I just want to make sure we have that.
Yeah, agreed.
Then, sir, I know that the last time on that, and for me from that.
Come to the
Sorry, I'm Mr. Kozlowski from the property, and sir, I just wanted, I know you had that question and you asked about our argument the last time, and this time, this is all about the property and the detriment to moving forward with it, just that as a roof mounted, where it would be a hardship and not realize any of that return within the 25 years, and that's in that financial analysis that's provided in that chart, specific just to the roof.
Understood.
To move forward.
Understood. I think what I said to you last time, to you and your wife, was I love the fact that you're attempting to do this, that I do. I love the fact that someone in the town is trying to do this. Now it's been 2 in a row. And the reason I'm looking down is I'm not ignoring, I'm looking at notes here on my phone. The state law says that the applicant cannot make a reasonable return. I think you've shown clearly that you can't make a reasonable return on solar. It doesn't mean that that you can't make a reasonable return on the property because you have a home on it. That's how I interpret it. That's
Right,
what I
we
said
would
to
ask,
last
we
week.
would ask to use discretion, that's all,
Yeah,
given what
I
the
get
use
it.
is.
Yeah, so I hear you.
Thank you, sir, I appreciate it.
Between the two of you, Mr. Kozlowski and Mr. Hopkins, can you explain to the board why this can't be done on the roof, other than that it's not as economically favorable to the...
Yeah, so let me try, and again, there is actually, the detailed analysis that Ron did provide, that was also based on discussions with the solar consultant, the company that would actually install it. So Ron, correct me if I'm wrong, but number one, the roof that's there today cannot support such a system. So
And why? I'm going to stop you right there.
just the structural integrity. The roof is okay, but basically what the consultant said is, you want to do this, you have to put in a new roof.
Okay.
And the roof probably has a useful life of 5 to 10 years?
Yes, and so we had 2 roofing contractors in addition to the solar companies come out. Both of the contractors, and William C. Roth and 716 Brothers Construction, said, no, we won't do this unless you redo the roof. The age of the roof is 17 years old. The useful life of that is less than 8. They said the damage we would do to that roof on its structural integrity, we would be just replacing everything that we're doing.
Okay, so you could go ahead and put a new roof on prior to putting the solar
Yes.
panels
They
on the
would, the only
roof.
way they would do that, put any solar on is to put a new roof.
I had the same situation.
Yep.
They could not put the solar panels on my roof because of my house, because of all the trees around there. They could put it on my garage roof, but I had to have a new roof first. So I put the new roof on and forewent the solar panels because I couldn't afford both.
It's also due to the orientation of the house on this particular property. When you think about, obviously, you have to be hitting the sun as it crosses east to west in this particular location. They decided this is not ideal. And actually, where I live in the village of Williamsville, my neighbor across the street had the same thing and wanted to put roof-mounted solar and just couldn't because of just the angle of the sun. You know, it's a very specific technical analysis.
Do we have that information?
Yeah, that's all you do.
Ma'am, you should have a solar energy
Yeah, I got
use thing as part of that package.
It's all part of this 31-page package.
And what it shows is that it will only achieve 65 to 70% return back if placed on that roof, due to the structure of the house, as is, due to the tree lines that are on
Oh, but it can be done.
Yes, it'll be done, and it would be 26, somewhere in here, 26% less efficient.
Correct.
Going
65 to 70 is all we could achieve out of that, yes, sir.
Okay, but it can be done. That's what I'm getting.
It would, but no one would do it because you can't achieve any return on your investment.
You would not, and that's what I was trying to say, the property would not get any return on that investment over the lifespan of that 25-year solar that would be placed on the roof. The property would lose money.
Yeah, so this is what this statement is the roof option would cover about 85% of the total cost of the installation of the panels. Whereas with 96% efficiency of the ground, not great at the math in my head, but it would achieve that net zero probably 15-ish years.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Somewhere in that range.
Store. The other thing is when you think about it, I want to make one other point. So think about roof-mounted versus ground-mounted. At this particular location, given where the ground mount is, if anyone has any concerns about visual impacts, the ground mount's actually way better. Some people, like other people in my neighborhood, have roof-mounted. Doesn't bother me. I think it's actually a good thing. But some people don't like it. I mean, this no one will ever see.
Okay, I'm really in favor of this, but I have to be convinced that there's no other alternative.
Correct.
And so what I'm hearing, I know that that would save you a great deal of money to do the ground. But what you're telling me is that the solar panels are expected to last about 25 years?
And that's best case scenario. I mean,
Okay, and that's regardless of whether they're on the roof or on
correct.
the ground?
Basically, same technology.
The difference is that, if I can simplify this, on the ground, they would pay for themselves, on the roof, they wouldn't?
Correct.
You only get 65% back of that investment as it is on that roof. The property would only get 65%.
And that's over 25 years. So it's not like we're looking to get a rate of return quickly.
96 to 100% back.
Right. Okay. All right.
And we have the technical analysis to back that up.
Okay. Okay, and we have a neighbor who wants to speak?
I live directly to the west of Kozlowski. And
Can we just, sir, we need your name and your address, please?
It's Robert Lebensky, L-A-B-E-N-S-K-I. Address is 390 Westwood Road, directly to the west. And from where they're going to place the ground-mounted solar panels, I would not see it from a upstairs house. Between us, there is a 500-foot wide NYSEG corridor. There's one single pole line, two lines with the H towers, and at their side, there's a 90-foot tall steel tower, power pole. So if you're concerned about visual, I don't see where they would place these panels on their property, I would see all these power lines. So if I looked at their house from my kitchen window, I would see the solar panels in one section of the roof. So there would be no impact from glare. You wouldn't see it. There's a tree line that's on their side of the power line, and that is still available for another line to come through. If that happens, then they may tear the trees down, but even still, where they're placing it, I still would not see it. I support their effort to do this and encourage them to proceed.
Thank you very much.
Bob knows a lot of details because some of you may know, I think Diane knows, he used to be in the engineering department for a long, long time, and actually when I first started doing this was, so we appreciate you coming.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to comment or has any questions? Okay, and anyone on the board want to add anything? Okay, anyone on the board wish to make a motion? As regards to this use variance, which we are hearing as if it were a new request,
You have to make a motion to do that.
we have to make, I'm sorry.
We did.
They did.
Oh, I'm sorry.
They did.
Good.
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Store.
Whereas zoning board of appeals of the town of Lancaster made the following findings, that this use variance for a single-family residence according to part 617.5C17 of the New York State Codes, Rules, and Regulations, a type 2 action, therefore is determined not to have a significant impact on the environment, therefore it is not subject to secret review. That the petitioner cannot realize a reasonable return, or that the petitioner cannot realize a reasonable return substantial as shown by the competent financial evidence, that that there is no alleged undesirable change in the neighborhood character or to nearby properties, that the requested variance will not alter the essential character of the neighborhood, and that the alleged hardship has not been self-created.
Thank you. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, I'm sorry, Mr. Tillmans?
Yep.
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hain,
No.
Mr. Matthews,
No.
Mr. Michaely,
No.
Mr. Storr,
Yes.
Mr. Tillmans,
Yes.
Mr. Zelak,
No.
Ms. Monticelli.
Yes.
Denied.
I'm sorry, the petition is denied. And the next and sixth case, if you would read the notice, please.
The sixth case considered by the Zoning Board of Appeals is that a petition of Gurkarat Singh, 2 Rutherford Lane, Penfield, New York, for one variance for the purpose of installing signs for Pizza King on premises owned by the petitioner at 5813 Broadway Street, Lancaster, New York, to wit. A variance on requirements for Chapter 400 zoning, Section 30, subsection F2C3E of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for installing signs for Pizza King with a pole sign base area of 46 square feet. Chapter 400 zoning, Section 30, subsection F2C3E of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires a total maximum pole sign face area of 32 square feet. Petitioner therefore requests a 14 square foot variance.
Thank you. Good evening.
Hi, good evening, board. Myself, Varinder Singh. I'm representing my client. I'm a sign contractor for them. So the reason of this one is to apply for a variance. The allowed area is 32 square feet for the pole sign.
Yes.
And we would like to add a digital sign on the bottom of it one. And it exceed by 14 square feet, including the both side of the signs. So approximately you could say, you need a variance of 7 square feet on each side. So it'll be just to, put up the deals for this one to wish the clients for the Christmas sort of thing, this to convey a message. It's a digital signboard.
All right, Mr. Zane, do you want to start us off?
This is a LED.
Yes, this is the digital sign, LED signs.
Is there a control?
Yes, we can control the brightness, everything is controllable. This is the latest digital full color screen. So we can control brightness, we can control the timing, even if we would like to, off it at the night time after 10 o'clock, 10 p.m., just to avoid any sort of botheration to anyone, to the neighbor or to the anyone, to the, driving sort of thing. So everything is controllable.
Is there a plan of, if this is permitted, is there a plan of time schedule?
Yes, we can do the time schedule as per the requirement. Like if says board says that this need to be on by 10 p.m. every day, we can do it that way.
I have no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Zelak. Mr. Haynes?
Thank you, Madam Chair. What is the size of the existing sign that you're replacing?
Yes, it's right over on the top of the sign. The existing sign is the face, the plastic sign, like the acrylic sign face.
It is the same?
Yes.
The 72 by 60?
Yes.
Thank you.
70
Oh, it is-
by
it's
66.
going
That
to is
is the existing sign, so we would
Oh,
like
and then
to
the
add.
added LED display, gotcha. And the sign above it, so the lower LED display
Yes,
is something you could
yes.
program and have messaging?
Yes, exactly.
And then the upper one is just a
It's
static
a static
LED
one. That
light?
is already existing one.
And it's the same size as the existing
Yes.
side door deli sign?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Width
I
wise,
have-
it's same, yes.
I have no more questions.
Thank you, Mr. Haynes. Mr. Matthews?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Matthews.
I,
Mr. Mickley?
I'm sorry, thank you, Madam Chair, I have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Mickley. Mr. Storr?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Storr. Mr. Tillmans?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Okay, thank you. I do not have any questions myself. Anybody in the audience? Okay. No questions from the audience. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Storr, thank you.
Before the motion, I have a question. Would this still be considered a single-family residence? For the- Well, so,
This is a commercial project.
correct, so pretty much I'm asking, is the
If-
617.5C17 still in play, or no? No. Okay. So whereas zoning board of appeals of the town of Lancaster has made the following findings, that no undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood by granting the area variance relief sought, because Broadway is a business corridor and there are several signs of similar size.
Thank you.
That no detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting of the area variance relief sought, that the benefit sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance relief sought, that the requested area variance is not substantial, that the proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district, that the alleged difficulty is self-created, but not to the extent necessary to preclude the granting of the area variance relief sought, that this board has taken into consideration the benefit to the applicants if the area variance relief sought is granted, as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or community by such grant, and that within the intent and purposes of this ordinance, the variance relief sought, if granted, is the absolute minimum variance necessary to afford relief.
Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Haynes, thank you. And roll call vote, please.
Mr. Haynes?
Yes.
Mr. Matthews?
Yes.
Mr. Mickley?
Yes.
Mr. Storr?
Yes.
Mr. Tillmans?
Yes.
Mr. Zelak?
Here, yes.
You're still here?
Ms. Monticelli?
It's been a night.
Yes.
Thank you very much,
Congratulations.
members, thank you very much.
Thank you. Good luck. Okay, and the seventh and final petition of the evening. And Ms. Terranova, will you read the notice, please?
The seventh case considered by the Zoning Board of Appeals is that of the petition of Kim Carney and Gary Paradowski, 180 Peppermint Road, Lancaster, New York, for two variances for the purpose of constructing a residential accessory on premises owned by the petitioners at 180 Peppermint Road, Lancaster, New York, to wit, A, a variance from the requirements of Chapter 400 zoning, Section 13, subsection C, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for constructing a residential accessory structure 4 feet from the rear property line. Chapter 400 zoning, Section 13, subsection C, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires a minimum location of 15 feet from the lot line. The petitioners therefore request an 11-foot variance. B, a variance from the requirements of Chapter 400 zoning, Section 13, subsection C, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster. The request calls for constructing a residential accessory structure 6 feet from the east side property line. Chapter 400 zoning, Section 13, subsection C, Schedule B of the Code of the Town of Lancaster requires a minimum location of 15 feet from the lot line. The petitioners therefore request a 9-foot variance.
Thank you. Hi, you want to give us your name and address, please?
Jerry Paradowski, 180 Peppermint, Lancaster, New York, 140086.
Okay, and tell us about your request.
Well, the reason we need this building is I've got a 12 by 12 shed that's packed solid with lawn equipment, snow blowing equipment, rototiller. We have an in-ground pool that has a lot of outdoor furniture. We have a patio in the back of our house with a lot of outdoor furniture. And I would love to be able to park our cars in our garage instead of using it as storage, a 2-car garage that's attached to the house. I also have a boat in the driveway that, unfortunately, if I had this building, I could store that in there in the winter. We just need the space, and I like to keep my backyard looking like a park setting. Keep it beautiful, so comfortable, the atmosphere, not where you got it. I got a utility trailer out there in the backyard that we use quite regularly in the summer and stuff. I got a dump cart out there, well, like a lawn cart where you put the stone or whatever. That's outside in the weather. It's just to keep my backyard looking nice and keeping everything, so a trailer, you know, if you leave it inside, it lasts you years. You leave it out in the weather, you're going through tires, lights, brake, you know, everything. It's just a matter of keeping my stuff in good shape, work in order, and not have all this clutter in the neighborhood or around. I don't want clutter. And with the 2 patios and the pool, it's a lot of outdoor furniture. And we're bursting at the seams. And I have over an acre. I got plenty of room to do it. And that's why I'm here. And where I need the variance is because the building in the back, and there's really nothing in the back of me. It's all open field and that. It's wide open. These guys got 13 acres in back of me. The guy on the left side of me. And the guys, people on the right side of me, they told me they would have no problem with it either. It's just a matter of, and it's not going to, it's the buildings we're going to do tastefully with carriage doors in the front to match the front of the house. It's not going to look like, you know, like it's like a carport, you know. It's going to be finished with overhangs on the building. And that's why I'm here. Because moving it up that 15 feet, it interferes with my pool and my chain link fence. It literally would be, we're going 11 feet, so you're talking, like 25 feet or so from here, like from here to that wall, you know, it's too close to my chain link fence. And I'm not getting rid of the pool. I was there before we were. And that's the reason I'm here, to try to get this variance and get the building we want.
Okay, yeah, the building isn't in question, it's just where you're
Placement
putting
of it, yes.
Yeah. So if you built it within code, you're saying it would be too close to?
It'd be, I don't know if you got a copy of the survey. It comes too close to my fence line on the pool. And what good is having a garage if you can't access it to get in and out of it, you know? You need the distance.
Okay.
And there, like I said, there's nothing in back of me right there. I know the guy on the other side, his house is set back on the left side, pretty far back. He has 13 acres almost all the way to Ransom Road.
And he has no objection to your
No.
placement?
When I asked, he didn't give me a negative on it. He said he'd have no problem.
Good. Okay. All right, let's turn it over to the board. Are we back to Mr. Hain?
Yeah. Thank you, Madam Chair. I have no questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Hain. And Mr. Matthews?
I have no questions as well, thank you.
Okay, thanks, Mr. Matthews. Mr. Michael?
Thank you, Madam Chair, I have no questions.
Thank you, Mr. Michael. Mr. Storr?
Thank you, Madam Chair, no questions.
And Mr. Tillmans?
Thank you, Madam Chair, I have no questions.
And Mr. Zelat?
Thank you, Madam Chair. What size is the building you're building?
It's, the actual it's 26 by 35. Three doors going across the front, which we're actually going to change it to 2 doors instead of 3. And a side entrance door and 3 windows.
And that's the building size?
50 there?
I actually have pictures of it.
Seems like
910.
700 square feet.
Oh, yeah, it's bigger than that.
1250.
I don't know, it's 26 by,
What is it?
I love 3 calculators came out as soon as
All right, so,
26 by 35,
and how big is your existing shed you have there?
12 by 12. This is what it would look like.
Yeah, I have it, so I was just wondering the size. I thought it was, the size was bigger than
It's like 910 square feet.
1250 is the number there, Matt?
And it's 13 feet high, that I did see.
I
Okay,
have no other questions, thank you.
okay, thank you, Mr. Zelak, and I have no further questions myself. And I take it you're part of this,
Yeah, she's the other half.
the other half? Okay. No, I just wanted to make sure you didn't have any questions, since you are the audience. Okay.
I'd like to make a comment from the audience.
Thank you, yes.
From the code perspective, 4 feet from the rear property line, the state will require a 1-hour fire separation on that back wall. So you may want to consider that as part of your costs. The 1-hour rated wall.
Would 5 feet?
On a steel building?
Steel building, wood frame,
This is all steel.
all steel.
Yeah.
If it has a 1-hour rating, then it would meet the standards of the state. Type 2 construction. So again,
You're saying if it's wood frame, steel building,
regardless, any structure like less than 5 feet from a property line, you need to maintain a 1-hour.
So if I moved it 5 foot, I could move that extra foot up.
Yeah, I mean.
Instead of 4 foot, I could go 5. That, I could live with that.
Because if the construction drawings cannot rate that structure at a 1-hour rating,
Okay.
we'd have to do some improvements.
We can still consider the variance you requested, and you don't have to use the entire variance, whether you use it or not. We don't care.
Okay.
Yeah.
You probably won't, you'll probably make it 5 feet, so.
Okay, all right, so do we have a motion?
One question, is it 5 feet or less than 5 feet?
5 feet or less requires,
1 hour.
less than 5 feet would require the rating.
Thank you.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worth the foot. Save money, make it 5 feet.
A foot, I can live with a foot.
It's worth the foot.
Yeah. I'll make a motion.
Motion, Mr. Storr, thank you.
Whereas zoning board of appeals of the town of Lancaster has made the following findings that this area variance for a single-family residence according to part 617.5C17 of the New York State Codes, Rules, and Regulations is a type 2 action and has been determined not to have a significant impact on the environment, therefore is not subject to secret review, that no undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood by the granting of the area variance relief sought, that no detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance relief sought, because providing adequate storage will improve the aesthetics of the area.
Thank you.
That the benefits sought by the applicant cannot be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance relief sought, that the requested variance is not substantial, that the proposed area variance will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district, that the alleged difficulty is self-created, but not the extent necessary to preclude the granting of the area variance relief sought. This board has taken into consideration the benefit to the applicant if the variance relief sought is granted as weighed against the detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood or district, that with the intents and purposes of this ordinance, the variance relief sought, if granted, is the minimum variance necessary to afford relief, in which the ZBA will only approve a 10-foot variance to the rear property line. He's requesting an 11-foot. I'm
Do you want
making
that
a...
as a condition?
Well, we have the ability to grant a certain percentage or necessary amount necessary to afford relief. I am making a motion to grant a 10-foot variance.
So, is granted a minimum variance necessary to afford relief of no more than
10 feet, which would be 5 feet from the property line.
10 feet from the property line.
No, 5 feet from the property line, a 10-foot variance.
There's two variances.
One for 6 foot
Okay.
from the side, which I don't want to alter. One, he's asking for
From the lot
11 foot
line.
from the back. I am altering that to 10 foot from the, or to 5 foot from the back, instead of 4 feet from the back.
10 feet.
So he requested 11 feet. I would like to alter it to a 10 foot.
Okay.
Then no commercial enterprise other than those permitted by Chapter 400 of the Code of the Town of Lancaster will be conducted on the premises. The end.
Motion by Mr. Storr, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Mr. Hain, thank you. And roll call vote, please.
Mr. Hain.
Yes.
Mr. Matthews.
Yes.
Mr. Michaely.
Yes.
Mr. Storr.
Yes.
Mr. Tillman.
Yep.
Mr. Zelik.
Yes.
Ms. Monticelli.
Yes.
Approved.
Okay, you are all set. Your variance is approved. Just
Thank
follow
you.
up with the building department.
Now, what do I do now? Go to get my building permit now, right? Okay,
You need to submit your construction drawings and you've got costs. And,
Okay.
here's the first.
okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you. Good night. Okay, is there any other business before the board? Anyone have any questions or comments before we adjourn? Motion to adjourn?
What time is it?
8:54.
Great. Who made it?
You made it.
Oh, no, I was asking if we had a motion. Okay, I'll make a motion to adjourn. You all second it. We're out.
We're out. Well done.
That's how we should have it, instead of motion to adjourn, we're out.
Yeah.